Ben, I need to say your name in today's episode, and someone on Twitter said your name is easy to say, so let's work on this. Ben Udraugo. Draogo? I'm not. Google, help me out here. How do I say Ben's name?
Ben Udraugo.
Udraugo.
Ben Udraugo.
How am I going to say this in a commentary? I can't even say it the best of times. The last name is...
Udraugo.
Udraugo. I'm really sorry, Ben. And I'm sorry to the person on Twitter who said it's easy. You're called Ben. Just Ben. Oh boy, Twitter is not going to be happy. What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 146 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today we have a live com double header. The first game, slightly higher stakes. It's the European Super Cup. We're taking on Stuttgart. We are off to sunny Estonia. Yeah, we're playing in a ground that only holds 14,000 fans for the European Super Cup, which seems a little bit odd, but nevertheless, it's an opportunity for some silverware. Following on from that, we've got an away trip to Brentford in the Premier League. Now, Brentford, newly promoted to the Premier League. You can see here, uncharted territory for them. They have not been this high in a very, very long time, if ever. I can't claim to be an expert on Brentford's history, but as a result, this is an opportunity for us to maybe run out with the 4-2-4. We talked about this last episode, but the idea that this season we are not going to be strictly limited to the more popular system that we've been using for the previous few years. You know, I'm willing to flex things up and mix things up with this system, and I imagine that we will rotate the team because there are only 3 games between episodes. And one thing that I think I started to realise towards the end of last year was that I didn't rotate my team early enough. We kind of hit a point in April and May where fatigue just hit really, really hard, and it came at a point where we had lots of tricky fixtures anyway, and the fixture congestion was at its peak. So in order to manage that a little bit more, it is going to be essential that in games like this one against Brentford that we've got coming up, that we do rotate things. So yeah, maybe we'll see a few of our less featured first team players, I suppose, make a mark in that game for the second game of today's episode. But anyway, before we get into these 2 games, a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, we've played 1 game in the league, the first game of the Premier League season against Sheffield United, a team predicted to finish 12th. And well, we dominated the game, but did rely a little on set pieces. Lescunon with a superb free kick, and then Shvetsov from the penalty spot. Yeah, you're not going to see many highlights shorter than those, but short and sweet. And, well, ultimately, a win and a clean sheet to start the year is really all that you can ask for. In terms of other bits of business, of course, the transfer window has now slammed shut. You might be sat there thinking, Jack, did you make any last-minute dealings? Did you spend any money? No, I didn't. And we didn't sell anyone either. At the end of the day, we had a few players go out on loan fairly late on. I guess a few players to keep an eye on in terms of development. Volker Peterson has gone on loan to Celta Vigo, who are still using the Barna badge from our old Let's Play. So if you don't know about FC Barna, it's a Let's Play that we did with kind of a Red Bull team in Spain. They replaced Celta Vigo. I updated the badge pack and never reverted it. So it's a little Easter egg, I suppose. That's what we'll call it. In the end, I did decide to loan Legal back to Villarreal. Last year, he was on loan in Spain playing for Rayo. Played 17 games, did okay. I feel like going to Villarreal, they've got state-of-the-art youth facilities, superb training facilities, a really good opportunity for him to hopefully get some regular first-team football, playing it in European football as well with the Europa League. You know, there's definitely going to be room for rotation there. And I don't know, at 18 years old, he has a great personality already. I feel like he's ready-made to slot into a first team, play regularly in a major European league, and then hopefully come back to us in a year or two just immediately to play in the first team. So we'll keep an eye on his development, I am sure, this year. And well, from one Frenchman to another, because I talked about it a few episodes ago, I do want to make a bit more of a habit of, you know, giving you guys little updates, I suppose, on players that we have going on. We have here Ben Uedorego. I can't do it. You saw in the intro, I have tried, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but the sound is just not easy for me to make as a non-native French speaker, and it's never going to work in commentaries where I need to talk quickly. So we'll call him Ben. I am going to keep his last name there. But yeah, this is the youngster to keep an eye on. This is the player who I really feel like we can build around. Give it, 2 years when he's actually going to join us. He will probably be an 18-year-old ready to just play in the first team. Of course, a youngster at Montpellier does not join us for another 2 years because he has only just turned 16. He's incredibly, incredibly young. Already a cultured attacking midfielder. You love to see it. I mean, he's got so much to like about him. It will be interesting to look at his physicals now and compare them to when he actually joins us in 2 years' time, because you would anticipate that with his age, his physicals are going to, improve quite rapidly. They tend to, go through some serious development as a player matures, particularly in their early teenage years. But anyway, he's the youngster to keep an eye on. In terms of other news, you'll notice the wage budget is significantly more in the red than it was last episode, and that's not because we've made any signings, it's because I've got an offer on the table for Smoljo, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. How do you solve a problem like Damir Smoljo? He's annoyed that Liverpool missed out on Champions League football. I got a news inbox item telling me that Juventus and PSG were making bids on him. I matched their offers, and for some reason mine got accepted, and then PSG and Juventus's both got rejected. I think that's probably because theirs was the same fee but included clauses. Is he worth £38.5 million? Is he worth paying a lot of money to? Probably would become our second highest earner at the club if he was to accept. He won't even join us until the end of the year as part of the signing agreement. I mean, is Morgan better? Yes, Morgan has better distribution, shot stopping and aerial, but he hasn't got the same communication, mentals or physicals. Smoljo, of course, also homegrown at club, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of reasons to like Smoljo. He is the same age as Morgan as well, though, which is interesting, because it's one of those things where it's basically, who do you think is better? Who is worth pursuing? I mean, undoubtedly, Morgan is a more complete player, but then I look at his slightly weaker one-on-ones, worse reflexes, and I do start to lean towards Morgan. Either way, it's not a decision to make right now. I would love to know your thoughts on if you would sign Smoljo in the comments. £40 million is not a crazy sum of money. For us, we can definitely afford that. We can stomach that cost. We've got 64 million in the bank, 300 million in the transfer budget. Of course, we've only recently offered Morgan a new deal. So on that regard, it's a little bit odd. But of course, Morgan has had interest in him. Smoljo wouldn't be joining us until the end of the year. We could either roll with two really good goalkeepers that we rotate, or alternatively, we look to move Morgan on. Answers on a postcard. I would be really interested to know, because I don't think there's a right or wrong decision. I think in some ways it comes down to, do I want to follow my head a little bit and what makes most sense, in which case probably stick with Morgan, or do I want to stick with my my heart and the fact that he is a player who's been at this team for a very long time, and I have a lot of time for him, and it'd be great to have him back. Interestingly, Alvin John is now the key player in the goalkeeping position in the Premier League, so Smoljo has lost his title there, and interestingly enough, Cancina the only player here. Now, it did get brought up last episode, the fact that Jermaine Defoe is now Coventry manager. And you might have noticed the fact that the name Town was underneath it. And that is because he was an under-18s coach for us for 4 years. Like, he's done his time. He's not a particularly great coach, in truth. I signed him because it was Jermaine Defoe, and I like the fact that you can kind of get former professionals in. But for whatever reason, Coventry lost their manager to West Brom after promotion. So the man who guided them to the Premier League, Darren Ferguson, hopped ships, which seems a little bit odd after back-to-back promotions. And now they've instated Jermaine Defoe. I am a little worried for them. They have, however, got our crown jewel, our secret weapon. This guy is the secret weapon, a player who's subtly been developing for a few years. Roberto Gonzalez. Now, I managed to loan him back to Coventry for this year before the affiliation was terminated. Obviously, when you're in the same division as an affiliate, the affiliation just gets removed. However, because I'd already agreed to loan him to Coventry, he is on loan for them this year, despite that affiliation coming to a close. We signed him for £5 million from Levante. You can see he's had a few very good years. Last year, he was the reason that Coventry got promoted. To be honest, he could probably come into our first team and be like a fifth-choice striker. He's very, very good, the 21-year-old. Loads of room to improve. Maybe he can keep them up. I think they're going to be looking for him to do some very big things for them. We'll wish him luck there. You can see he's playing in the Under-21 European Championship, playing regularly for Spain and Under-21 level, and it's not entirely surprising. He is very, very well-rounded indeed. But anyway, that's just a little bit of an update. We've only played one game since you were last here, so we can hop straight into this game against Stuttgart. As I mentioned, we are playing at this stadium, the Lidkulla Stadium. That's definitely not how you say it. It's Estonian. They've got undersoil heating. There is no roof. It only holds 14,000 fans, which seems mad, but you know what? I've never been to Estonia, so there's a first for everything. And we're taking on Stuttgart today, who, if we just have a look at their previous year, of course, they did win the Europa League. Last year, they finished 4th in the Bundesliga. Their key player is Celeban here, who is a very, very pacey left winger, a German international with 7 goals in 12 games from left mid. That's that's quite good. On the other wing, they've got this guy as well, who's been one of their better performers this year, Gottwald. In fact, we can have a quick look at their scout report. So they've got Celeban, they've got Luca Mertens, who is another very good player, a Belgium centre attacking mid, only 24 years old. Dijkman as well, probably one of their star defenders. And actually, when you look at their team, a lot of very young talent. Their best players, Stuttgart, are young. So we're going to have to be a little bit wary of them. Interestingly enough, they've got Xavi Simons as their captain, of course, a player who I think he's still at PSG in real life. Please forgive me if that's incorrect. He is very, very good, a player who's very hotly tipped to do big things. Maybe he'll be making an appearance against us today. Anyway, in terms of our team selection for this game against Stuttgart, knowing that we are playing Brentford, a team that I will rotate the squad for, we are going to go into this match with a full strength side. Interestingly enough, and I've just noticed it here, we can basically fill out the bench with players, which is absolutely lovely to be able to see and do. So do that we shall. Just get on a few extra players, but in terms of the actual starting 11, this is our best 11. This is the team that played against Sheffield United. They put in a good little performance to start. Hopefully we'll have better things. I did see a lot of comments asking about Kaiser, and I know why people are asking about him. It's because of his stars, that he stands out as a player. Like, why would you have him on the bench? The truth is that Kevin Kaiser is a good player at the deep line playmaker position. However, he's not as good as Leskinen, and he's not really good enough to force Leskinen to play out of position. Now, Leskinen, you may remember, we played as a Mazzala. He did okay, though. We moved him back to deep line playmaker. And whilst Kaiser, perhaps as a very limited deep line playmaker, is the better player in terms of direct head-to-head comparison, I think actually when you compare them as more defensive options, Leskinen makes a lot more sense. He's a lot more well-rounded. He's a little bit better with the ball at his feet. The way that we play the deep line playmaker on defend does have to do a lot of defending. They are going to be sat between the centre-backs a lot of the time. And so the fact he's got that little bit better marking does make quite a significant difference, because against teams that play a centre attacking mid, we really need him to do that. Additionally, I think he has a slight mental edge. I guess you could give teamwork and work rate to Kaiser, but that's not exactly needed in the way that the deep line playmaker operates in our team. And I don't know, I mean, when you compare them here, you can kind of see he's just not as well-rounded, and whilst he maybe has a physical edge, and I know someone will look at the vision, the reason that Kaiser's vision is so high is because he's got 19 flair. If anything, I don't really want a player doing the unexpected when they are the sole man protecting our, defensive duo. And as a result, Andre and Maticevic are very, very good. Maticevic continuing just to show signs of improvement. You look at him as a Mazzala on support. Yes, he's definitely not irreplaceable, but for a player who's homegrown at club, I think he offers as much at Mazzala as, Kaiser does a deep line playmaker. And I don't know, Kaiser got chances last year, and he will get a chance next game against Brentford later this episode. I have no doubt he will come in and play. He played, I think, 31 games last year and had 17 starts. It's not like he's not playing, but ultimately the club's star player is Leskinen, and I'm not going to start playing the star player out of position just because my assistant says that, another player has, 4-star current ability. It's also worth noting that the star abilities are very dependent on average rating and form. And the deep line playmaker in the current iteration of Football Manager 2020's match engine just gets very high average ratings. That definitely benefits Leskinen to an extent, but it's definitely one of the factors why Kaiser has just a really, really high average rating. So, yeah, hopefully that clears things up a little bit. Anyway, Stuttgart's on the attack here. And getting it all the way over. Leskinen doing his defensive duty in the right place at the right time, mopping it up. Now with Maticevic. And now with Shvetsov. Bringing it forward down this left-hand side. Blocks, but only as far as Nico. Only Cancina in the middle, although Andre is lurking. And Andre gets his first goal of the season. Welcome back, Andre. Of course, he missed that opening game of the year against Man City. He had a little bit of an injury. Was busy playing at the World Cup. Kind of caught up with him. A little bit of wear and tear. Gave him a rest to start the year. He did play against Sheffield United, and he's turned up with a really good header there. The keeper made a terrific effort to try and save it. Managed to get fingertips to it, but only into the inside of the net. And we're now a goal up, and we can maybe relax a little bit. You know what? It's the European Super Cup. It'd be lovely to win this. I definitely want to win this, but I'm not going to cry if we didn't win it. Although we are well on the way now, with Cancina scoring a near post header. Who knew that an inverted winger could do so well as a striker? Second goal of the season for him, so if there were any questions over Cancina's ability both from set pieces and just as a goal-scoring threat, I think they've been answered early on this year. Worth noting as well, with Shvetsov scoring against Sheffield United, that put an end to his goal-scoring drought. Now, granted, it was from the penalty spot, but sometimes you need that confidence-building penalty, I feel like, as a striker to get in a goal-scoring mood. Anyway, Aurelio down this right-hand side. Options in the middle, including Cancina, who is the sole player to aim for. It's headed away bonus for us, Nico, who blazes inside and, well, just as the Football Manager thing of smashing the ball into the side netting from an angle where you just shouldn't be going for goal. There's not been a whole load of shots in this game, but we've taken the chances that have come our way, and we're on the attack again here. Shvetsov to Cancina to Andy Eric. It's going to be offside, but what a lovely little move that was. Shvetsov nodding it on. Cancina, he's not the craziest finisher. He's not the most natural-born goal scorer by any means, although he did get third highest goal scorer in Serie A. The intelligence there just to nod that back for Andy Eric to run onto is really, really promising. And of course, he's got that gelling, that getting to know each other period, which is definitely a thing in Football Manager. Team cohesion, tactical familiarity, that definitely plays a role into how well players click into a team. That doesn't look like it's going to be a concern for Cancina. He has definitely got the quality to deal with that. Anyway, we've got a set piece here. I mean, it's only 2-0. We can't get too carried away here. 1 goal, and we could be in trouble. And while Xavi Simons whipping it in, Seeger is there. And Morris Seeger, first goal of the year. I said I wondered if we'd see Xavi Simons. The answer is yes, we will. We'll also see him getting an assist. Little 1-2, little passing spree between him and Huet out on the right-hand side. The ball dinked over. Who was that not picking up their man? It was Markovsky, who, of course, I am trying to bed into the team ahead of Auger, because this guy has the potential to be a lot better than Auger and is debatably already better than him, but that lack of match experience definitely caught up with him a little there. Anyway, an hour on the clock. Let's make some changes. I am going to bring in Turnbull for Shvetsov. Elsewhere, do I want to make another change? Aurelio scares me on a booking a little bit at right back. Maybe we'll bring in Deacon as well, just to keep things safe. 25 minutes gone. It's 2-1. I mean, it's on a knife's edge now. There's not been a whole host of chances either way. Yes, we had a load of highlights, but we didn't take those chances, and they weren't the best, although we could have a great opportunity here. Turnbull should square it. Does Cancina. Do your thing, is what I was going to say. Do your thing. And he's not done it. He's put it wide. It was an absolute sitter as well. Those yellow boots. You expect flashy plays. I'm sure we can all relate to, junior football when you played as a kid, and there'd be the one person who turned up every game on the other team with, new flashy boots. They were like the latest Adidas Predators. I think back when I was a kid, it was the F50s were like the big deal growing up when I was really little. I'm sure for some people that sat there thinking, I remember the Preds. But anyway, modern day flashy boots, shiny colours, you expect big things. He's offside again. Someone tell Cancina the offside rule. That's 2 goals that are going to be ruled out for offside. Do they not play with that in Serie A? I mean, Turnbull, fantastic header on Cancina. Great composed finish on the volley. That is not easy to do with that level of technique. I mean, if they score now and it goes to extra time, I'm going to be annoyed. My word, that's a let off the hook there, isn't it? Blocked and gone wide. I'm actually now sat thinking, does this game have extra time? And I think it does, because I remember Liverpool and Chelsea having it in real life. But there's, lots of rule changes happening with different competitions. I know the FA Cup's gone through some changes in recent years to do with replays, to do with extra time, away goals. Just make every tournament follow the same format. It's frustrating. I don't know if it's the same in every country, but different domestic cup competitions just all have different rules. Either way, while I'm complaining, Morgan is lifting up some more silverware. The green suit, the red trousers. I don't know, I feel like I need to get a suit like that for FM21 that I can just wear for cup finals. If anyone knows where I can find a green suit, please do let me know. Congratulations, boys. What a fantastic result that is against Stuttgart. Yes, it's a game that we're probably expected to win. Would I like to have won it by a few more? Abso-bloody-lutely, but we'll take it. We will take that. Nico unfortunately picked up an injury and won't be available for the Brentford game, but I was probably going to rotate him anyway. It's more silverware to add to our cupboard. We get a few £1 million in prize money. The players are absolutely loving it. And you know what? That puts us in pretty good stead, hopefully, to now build a platform for this year. First time winners, that feels good. And, well, I'm a little bit scared for Brentford, but I'm hoping we can get a good little performance against them. As I said, we're going to go and play the 4-2-4 or the 4-4-2, however you want to view this formation. We're going to rotate things up. We're going to mix things up. I will join you in a couple of days. And, well, hopefully our B team is going to be able to get a result and show us what they're all about. Okay guys, so we are back here for the second game against Brentford, and well, you join me just here as we're putting our finishing touches together with our 4-4-2 system. Yes, a lot of rotation happening today, pretty much a whole fresh squad coming in. A few players lacking more match fitness than I would like, but given that we are so early on in the year, that's not entirely surprising. And, well, let's just do a little run through of this team, because the entirety of the starting 11, besides Morrigan in goal, are players who didn't feature in the previous game as starters. So at right back, we've got Kevin Deacon, of course, naturally a right back, but we did train him to play left wing back over a few years. Just a really, really solid backup player to have. I feel like wing backs, especially backup wing backs, don't really get the credit they're due, because you always need one on the bench who's kind of versatile, or at least I love to have that, for me personally, that player on the bench who can play left back, who can play right back, you know, two birds with one stone, takes up one less spot. Kevin Deacon is that workhorse, but of course, being the player who plays that position, it's not actually that often that you come on off the bench to play either of those spots. Anyway, out on the left-hand side, we have Ox, a very loyal servant to the club. Of course, signed for £26 million back when we were in the Championship. Had a really solid run for 3 years. Last year, didn't make nearly as many league appearances, although when he did an okay job for us, and he gets the nod at left-back today. At centre-back, it's going to be Auger and McCassie, two exceptional centre-backs in truth. Auger looking like he will be phased out of the team as this season goes on, but he will be given chances to try and, I guess, state his claim for a spot in the first team. McCassie alongside him, an exceptional centre-back. Besides his heading, if his heading was good, he would be probably better than Soretta. And in fact, you could maybe make the case that he's better than Soretta. But I am massively, massively put off by the heading. It's just not quite to the level that I personally want from my centre-backs. You can see McCassie is just a very well-rounded player, but he's not good enough in the air, not quite as good defensively. But I need to give him game time. He's still very, very young, so he's alongside Auger. In the centre of the midfield, it's Kaiser, who's going to be playing as the deep line playmaker. I know a load of you are going to be very happy about that. To his left, we have Useless, a player who was out on loan last year. And to be honest, I desperately wished he was around, because there were times where I needed him in the team as a backup centre mid. He will get first-team opportunities this year, and this is probably the first of many. In the wide midfield areas, out on the left-hand side, we're going to go with Norman. It's not exactly optimal for him to be out on the left-hand side as an inverted winger, given the fact he's left-footed, but that is where he is going to feature for us today. That is because Cancina played midweek and is a little bit tired. Volta is going to get a nod uncharacteristically out on the right-hand side. Yes, a position he's not really ever played for us. He has played for us for as long as we've played with wing-backs, but today he's going to get a nod, he's going to get a chance. A player who, he's had opportunities without ever putting in the best of average ratings, but a lot of those chances come in on off the bench, and as he showed last year in the Champions League, he's a very, very good player. Like, he's underratedly good in terms of just his raw ability. So excited to see how he gets on for us there. And up top, we've got Turnbull, who you're all too familiar with. We're not going to speak about his World Cup escapades. And alongside him, we've got Bubalo, who this year is pretty much our fifth choice striker, was signed just last January for £22 million. Didn't get a goal in his first year at the club, but a good opportunity here. Bit of a clean slate, I suppose, with the season resetting and restarting. And, well, I'm excited to see what he can do, because he is very, very young. A player who I did look for a loan move for, but just didn't materialise. So he's still in the first team, given the fact he's fifth choice striker behind the likes of Norman, behind the likes of Cancina, Turnbull, Shvetsov. He's probably not going to get enough opportunities, and I still want to get that loan move out, but given the team that played last time out, he is going to get the nod here today. So anyway, a little bit of a test for these guys. You could argue that I am disrespecting Brentford a little bit here, but given the nature of their side, given their promotion unlikely as it was to the Premier League, I expect us to, dispatch them even with a rotated team here. Worth noting, up top for them, they've got Blaine Neal, of course, a player who we sold to them for £17.5 million at the start of this year. He never actually played a game for us, I'm now realising. We made a lot of money off him. Let's hope he doesn't score against us today. That would be a bit of a typical football manager, dare I say. 0-0, last 10 minutes, he'll grab two, and Brentford will win 2-0 or something. I mean, in an ideal world, we go out here, our youngsters get a chance to show us what they're all about, and we win fairly convincingly. That would be the perfect performance. And, well, you'll note the fact we are in our new away kits this year, and, well, hopefully that's going to prove special. I don't know. We've had a few kit clashes over the recent kind of couple of seasons, so we now have our new 3D kit. It's primarily red. It's not really half and half like the kit originally was, but it does the job for us, and I think our players look quite good in it, to be fair. Anyway, they're on the attack here. Vincente bringing the ball forward down this right-hand side, plays it inside to Dolan. Now with Ruiz, I mean, they've got a few men in the attack here, Brentford. Of course, we are playing the 4-4-2 as well, which, you know, is a more attacking system. It does leave us open at the back, and my word, that was a few too many chances for them, wasn't it? I think it may have even hit the woodwork and gone out. We have been let off the hook. Time to get shouty. We are being bullied early on in this game. Our youngsters not performing very well. Maybe I'm underselling Brentford here. Maybe I'm not showing them the respect that they deserve. Apparently Blaine Neal, who we sold to them, is their best player, if you believe what our scouts say. We have a set piece here. Kaiser over it, whipping it in onto the penalty spot. Volta can't get his head there. Now they may look to break away here. Ruiz bringing it forward. I think Blaine Neal is the only player really up in support. May need to hold it up just a tad, and does just that. Lays it inside to Butler. Now with Dolan. Neal to, well, play the ball wide. It's dispossessed, and now we come on the attack. Norman, look at him going. He's storming forward. What can he do? Options in the middle. Whips it in. Turnbull might be offside. Don't celebrate it. Are Turnbull and Cancina like training together? Have they? We need to start enforcing offsides in training. I think there's a goal hanging tendency creeping into our team. I will say the fact that those lines are flashing on top of one another, like Z fighting, I believe is the term they use for it in modelling and such, makes me think they were in line. So I may have to complain to the FA, but they have a chance, and we're very lucky. Morgan holds on to it. This has not been a good first half, has it? I was hoping this would be a good confidence-building game for our, second-string team against one of the weakest Premier League teams. A chance for them to prove themselves worthy of being given more opportunities in these kind of games. It's not really shone so far. And well, Bubalo, that was the opportunity. That was the best chance of the half we've had. It's our only shot on target. It's taken until the 46th minute, and he's only blooming gone and ballsed it up. Part of me sat thinking, do I want to bring in some, stronger first-team players? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move Norman out onto the right. We're going to bring Cancina in down the middle, and I'm going to bring in Shvetsov for Bubalo. The cavalry is arriving. Strength in numbers. We are going to get a few of the big guns on the pitch and see what they can do for us. We've not shown enough going forward. I'm hoping that the quality of Shvetsov in the final third and the creative spark that perhaps Cancina can provide out on the left-hand side is going to be enough for us here, because this has been a tight game so far, and well, we're not showering ourselves in glory, are we, here, as Taylor Dalton brings forward the ball. He lays it back. Shvetsov should get onto it, does. De Kaiser will dink it wide. Falls to Cancino, plays in Turnbull. Dylan, use your aggression, use your strength. He goes on his own, he smashes it wide of the post. Why did he not use his left foot there? Why did he not use his left foot there? That was not the right foot, not the right technique. I will say we've definitely upped the gears in this second half. We're having a lot more chances, a bit more possession coming in our way. Now let's make it show on the scoreline. McCassie to Norman, Deacon on the overlap. Norman cuts inside and switches the play to Cancino. Nods it down to Dylan Turnbull, tackled, but back with Cancina. Now with Useless, who we may want to consider taking off. He's getting a little bit tired. Was definitely the player lacking the most match fitness, although that's a great ball to Ox at left back. He crosses it in. Players queuing up. Norman's there, takes a touch. Turnbull, Shvetsov. Oh my word, what an insane save by the keeper. Got one last change. I'm going to take off Useless. We're going to bring in Andre. I don't want to say I'm panicking here, but if we fail to win this game, that is a big, big concern. Even if we only scrape a 1-0, it would be a bit of a let-off. 3 clear-cut chances. The chances are definitely coming in our favour now. We are definitely, the team with momentum on our side. But we need to make that show for something. And while Shvetsov bringing it forward, all on his lonesome, and he just smashes it wide as well. What is happening? Brentford got some kind of, what would you call it, like repelling magnetic force field on their goal, stopping the ball going in. Let's hope not. We need a goal here. Kaiser, can you be the player to unlock the defence? You've got the vision, you've got the passing. Lovely build-up play here. Turnbull to Norman. Can he pull it across? He needs to. Deacon whips it in. Turnbull nods it down. Cancina. What a lovely goal it would have been. The passing was superb. We worked the ball around superbly. It just didn't fall where we needed it to. And with all the subs made, time is just trickling away here. I need to go more direct. We need to work the ball a little faster into the final third, chaps. Let's look to press a little bit as well. I know some people might wonder, with this system, why do I not have counter-pressing on by default? Why do I sit back? The reason is I want to pull teams forward. I want to create space behind them. If we're pressing all the time, it doesn't give us that space to break into that, well, Shvetsov has found, and Shvetsov is going to exploit. What a lovely finish that is. That is a Shvetsov special. If there was any doubts about his confidence, I guess, after his lack of goals at the end of last season, yes, the penalty goal was nice in the first league game of the year. Of course, well, not record, but leading Premier League goal scorer last season. 2 goals in 2 now for him. And hopefully now we can just cruise to victory. The tactical change is made. It works wonders. I'm not going to take our foot off the gas, despite the fact that probably is the move I should be making here. And, well, you know what? It's not a classic. It's not the best of games. We had way more opportunities than the stats really imply. 5 clear-cut chances. On another day, we perhaps would have been punished for them. But you know what? We didn't concede, and when you don't concede, you can't lose. And the kids did okay. You know, they came in a little bit rusty, a little bit of a lack of match fitness. We navigate it with a win. Turnbull gets man of the match. He's absolutely loving it. I guess he's heard about the fact Cancino might be starting ahead of him this year and now needs to make his claim, I suppose, for a first-team spot. In terms of when we'll be back next episode, I think we're going to come back for the Arsenal game. It's going to be on the 30th of September, as you can see here. We will have our Champions League group drawn by then, so maybe if it's a huge Champions League game, we'll come back for that. I do feel like the excitement of a first season in the Champions League is kind of worn off now after last year, and with that in mind, I don't want this to turn into a 15 or 16 game season. I want to be getting through this season in, 10 to 12 episodes ideally, so with that in mind, I feel like Arsenal is a good place to draw a line in the sand and say, yes, let's come back for that one. Could well be a big game for us as well. Arsenal are not a bad side by any means. Their media prediction of 7th kind of implies that. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. Not the most convincing of results in either game, but good to see the youngsters get a chance, of course. Let me know what you make about the situation with the goalkeepers. Would you sign Smolio? Hopefully, if not next episode, the episode after that, the training facilities and youth facilities will have been a bit upgraded as well. What is the due date on those? Let me know. Oh, it's not until December. I guess it's because it's the last final upgrade to make them stay to the art, so it takes a little bit longer. So I've got a bit carried away there. It's not quite as soon as I would like, but the training facilities on the way is nice. And, well, hopefully I'll see you next time for that game against Arsenal. I would love to know your thoughts on today's episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I'll see you again tomorrow. It's me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.